strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path manned by with love. Faith and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be hurled into the world, and to the generations of men shall be called blessed. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. All right. Peace and welcome, everyone. I am going to open this up with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn on us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action be the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayun, Hunaku, Evermaya, Maho. Ayun, Hunaku, Evermaya, Maho. Ayun, Hunaku, Evermaya, Maho. All hear the harmony of mind and nature. And so just welcome everyone in. I am Sister Ya, of course. And so I am going to open this up. We are going to go over just the acknowledgments to our master teachers and to our ancestors before we get going with the introduction for the meeting for today. So we stand on the shoulders of giants, and in this moment, we summon in fortitude the revolutionary spirit of our most reverend ancestors and teachers. Our acknowledgement is not a mere thing. It is a declaration that their sacrifices were not in vain, and their wisdom will fuel the path forward. To the prophets and nation builders, we honor the most honorable Messiah, Marcus Garvey, who gifted us with the vision of Pan-African unity, self-reliance, and the majesty of Black nationhood. A king who taught us to look to Africa for the crowning of a Black king. Your vision lives. To the swords of liberation, we acknowledge Malcolm X, El Hajj, Malik El Shabazz, the brilliant and courageous truth tellers whose evolution forged an unapologetic path to self-defense and human rights. We honor Nat Turner, whose spirit refused to bend to bondage, making the ultimate demand for freedom with blood and fire. We salute Assata Shakur, whose principled resistance and revolutionary defiance inspired the continuous fight against oppression worldwide. Your resistance is our blueprint. To the queens of resilience and power, we bow to Henrietta Davis, whose strength in the Garvey movement fortified the foundation of the UNIA. We admit Dr. Betty Shabazz, the embodiment of grace, intellect, and steadiness. We who protected the legacy. To the master teachers of history himself, Dr. Ben, the master historian, we acknowledge Dr. Drew Pookrum, the healer and physician who taught the deepest connection between mind, body, and spirit, the power of internal ancestral memory. Your wisdom is our foundation. We acknowledge and give deep gratitude to Mayat and Marakaru Amen for illuminating the concept of womb evolution, a crucial pathway for healing post-traumatic slave syndrome and the associated physical change stored within the womb space. This work offers a powerful means of ancestral and cellular release. We honor Neb Teharka, the 7 mental skills master, for providing the essential framework and wisdom necessary to identify and remove the lingering mental chains that restrict consciousness and self-determination. We express thanks and profound respect to Jose Aguirre for introducing the pivotal concept of law of time, a paradigm shift that reconnects humanity to natural cycles and cosmic order. We commend Dr. Winters for the dedicated work in translating the glyphs left by ancestors in Mesoamerica, thereby restoring vital suppressed wisdom and historical memory. And we are grateful to Baba Lanik, the insightful law of time scholar, for the ongoing preservation, interpretation, and dissemination of this critical colonial science. A special thank you to all of you, the named, the unnamed, the millions whose labor, genius, and blood paved the path from bondage to victory. We acknowledge, we affirm, and we commit. We will master the lessons you taught. We will build the nations you envisioned. We will defend the freedom you demanded. We will continue the revolution. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. All right. And so, as you all know, we are here in Detroit with a very special guest, Neb Teharka, who is the founder of the Synchronistic Hueman Enlightenment, the chancellor, the co-founder of Mimic, initiator of the Synchronistic Order Assessment Reading Soul Report. He has over 16,000 hours and one-on-one synchronistic coaching sessions within 7 years. He's a sacred geometry practitioner, a master teacher, 23 consecutive semesters of teaching law of time and the heart of mind procedure, additional courses taught. The 13 moon calendar, the law of time, psychology of the multidimensional being one, but the psychology of the multidimensional being two, the law of hierarchy, the hollow mind procedure. There are 21 levels: terrestrial 7, celestial 7, universal 7, telepathic remembrance group, the Synchronomics economic initiative, objectives to build a telepathic community. And so this man right here is powerful. And without further ado, I have the honor of bringing up Neb Teharka, the man with the master plan.
It's just different. It's just different. I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies.
All right. Let's go ahead and do a sound check. Am I being heard? indicate in the chat if I'm being heard. I know I'm being heard here at UNIA. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be here. Give thanks to the leadership here at the UNIA, Sister Yai, for doing that wonderful introduction and getting us in line with our ancestors so that we can move this agenda forward on so many levels. So it truly is a pleasure to be here again. My name is Neb Teharka, and I am the founder and chancellor of the Synchronistic Hueman School of Enlightenment. And so what I intend to do over the next 30 to 45 minutes to give you a brief overview of what the Synchronistic Hueman is all about and how what we focus on is evolving so that we can now take our rightful place back on. Does that make sense so far? All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. And so with that being the case, we got people that are streaming in, we got people that are here, and we're going to have a break, and we're going to play the game. So we're only going to air the first 30 to 45 minutes of this. And those of you that have questions that are on the stream, you're welcome to chime into the chat. You're also welcome to email me at nebteharka@synchronistichueman.com, and I'll get your questions answered so you can see if this aligns with where your consciousness is right now. Okay? And where it's headed. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. The Synchronistic Hueman defined as someone who is able to be multidimensional, that's nonlinear. So we've been programmed to be linear. Linear equals, I want you to write this down, limited. So when you're limited to your physical body, then now you don't have access to the spirit or the etheric aspect of your being. You don't have access to the electrical light side of your being, the light code that's part of the akasha and your immortality. Does that make sense? So when we're only operating divided and fractured, then we're limited to what we can do to overcome certain obstacles. Okay, so the Synchronistic Hueman is someone who's multidimensional while unifying energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity. Now, when I use the word holonomic, we're talking about whole systems. So energetically, we are all connected. We're connected to the planets. We're connected to the star system. We're connected to everything that ever is experienced in the cosmos. That's why you hear me talk a lot about cosmic memory. Because once we remember, and what's interesting is this, let me tell you, got me tapped into this. Some scientists say we have over 100 million years of memory stored in our mind. And some of us can't remember somebody's name. So how much of it do you think we use? Now imagine if we just use a smidgen of this memory, what we're going to do is we're going to remember different versions of ourselves that's far greater than how we operate in this physical body. We're going to remember our purpose in the galaxy. I heard somebody said, oh yeah, the white folks won the world. Okay, but we are masters of the universe. So how does that pale in comparison to what we have access to when we talk about really truly who we are and how we are one with the earth? Okay? Well, I'm just telling you what they say. And their illusion of power that comes through colonization and different tactics is null and void because they're dealing with a fracture of a being. You see what I'm saying? But when we remember our whole self, let me tell you something. What's going to happen? Something different is going to happen because it's out of the jurisdiction. We're supposed to be mastering the universe, not just the earth. Does that make sense what I'm saying? And so we have to expand and evolve our consciousness if we want change in this physical realm. So I'm going to talk to you about some concepts that's not usually talked about in the mainstream in terms of whatever systems of learning that we came from. We came from a limited perspective. We came from a third dimensional perspective. I'm going to be speaking from a fourth dimensional perspective. So some of the stuff I'm going to say ain't going to make sense to you. I'm going to give you an example of this. How many of y'all have intuition? Now, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. How many of y'all listen to your intuition all the time? No, not all the time. I know you don't all the time. Because I don't know all the time. Now here's the thing. Now, let me tell you something. What? Oh, yeah, you're going to get in trouble. But check this out. Why don't we listen to it? Why do you think we don't listen to it, Sister Brenda? Okay. by a lesser power than what's speaking to us through our intuition. You see that trickery? So let me show you why, though. Let me show you why. This is key. Watch this. The intuition is speaking from a higher level of consciousness than how you operating right now in this physical body. Because the body has brought you into objectification and reductionism. It's reduced the self. I'm going to use the self as the unlimited power of God in us. And it speaks to intuition. So we're listening to somebody with no experience before we listen to the intuition that got the experience of even back when the cosmos started. So there's something we need to change based on what I'm saying. We need to start listening to that intuition. Right? Stop scrolling and listen to that intuition. Because that intuition got something in it that scroll can't have in it. Does that make sense? So that's how we got to be tuned into the universe of the self. And then we project, we recognize through memory that we're projecting a holographic memory of who we are. And so what you see is a reflection of what's in your heart. That's why you got to be in my heart. You can't have no heavy heart. And you can't be having no judgment in your heart, because you're going to become what you judge, and you're going to attract it in your physical reality. So a lot of times we've been going through a struggle through just physical reality. And we do our best to tap in with the ancestors. But the ancestors are calling us in deeper to go further. Oh, through consciousness. Because everything works through consciousness. When you understand the mind, right? And let me ask you, can you remember a conversation you had with somebody in your family that's no longer here? Okay, that's memory. So through your memory, you tap into consciousness and awareness, and then now you're able to communicate. But see, we're not. I'm glad. What about who? Oh yeah, you pour in libation because you pour into a tribute, right? But let me show you something. This is where we stuck. This is why I'm doing this tour. This is where we stuck. Where we're stuck is that we're not in the image of the essence of God and the God being itself. You know what produces the God? You know what comes before the God? The essence of God. So if you don't see yourself in that image, you know what you're going to say? How can I? Because we're talking about the physical limitations of our hearing. And so hearing has to transform into auditory consciousness. Is that what people do all with affirmations? Well, affirmations are designed to inspire you to raise your frequency so that you can attract a different experience energetically in your reality. So we got some work to do? We got some unlearning to do? Do we got some reconditioning to do? Because we've been just programmed to stay in our limitations of the physical body. So when I come up here and I start talking about the etheric realm and the spirit, and I start talking about the energetic light body, y'all gonna look at me like I got 16 eyes on my head. But I'm gonna show you how it works, and I can show you better than I can tell you. Now, why am I gonna show you? Well, I'm gonna show you for this reason, so that you can demonstrate and practice what it is I'm showing. Because if I just tell you, then I got to leave it up to you to try to figure out what I'm saying and what it looks like in real form, in practicality. And so that's why everybody got their version of everything. But when I show you how it works, and it works, why would you deviate? Right? If I show you mind over matter and how you can influence a situation that's violent, or a situation where somebody's trying to do some harm to the earth, and I show you it works, why would you deviate from that? You wouldn't. You wouldn't deviate. So we're all here because we're seeking the truth that works so that we can advance ourselves on this planet and in this whole entire universe. And so I'm just an initiate of that. I'm not here with the absolute everything. I don't have all the answers, but the stuff I know, I know. And I'm coming to you with the experience that I have to share with you so that you can demonstrate and practice and see how it works for you. And if it don't work for you, you got to find something else. But I know it works if you work it. Okay? So this is very important conversation that we're having, because can you see how we're stuck in the physical, the limitation? Right? Because you asked me how. So how goes beyond this physical? And we got to tap into this other piece, the etheric. Now, why do I say the etheric? This is very good when we talk about Synchronistic Hueman, because some of these words we get tripped up on because it's technical, right? But the etheric realm, I want you to imagine for a moment that you were out there in the ethers before you became conscious in the body. Well, out there in the galaxy, out there beyond, it really you're in consciousness, but we can call it space. Where do you think it came from? The dirt? Where do you think we came from? Listen. Where did we come from? Because if we don't know where we came from, how are we going to know where we're going and how we're going to get there? When I was in the military, and I learned something. Because, see, I haven't always been in things that I agree with, but I learned, I make the best of it. To become the best leader, to become the best disciplinarian. That's what I learned. In land navigation, they taught us that you got to know where you are before you can get to where you want to be on the map. So where are you? Where did you come from? I'm asking. You know where you want to go, but where do you come from? Do you know? If you don't know, say, I don't know. But what we got to do if we don't know? We got to come into now. We got to stop getting information and get knowledge so we know the limits and we know the limitations so that we can now be who we truly are. But we don't know where we came from. There's a lot of shit we ain't going to know. Excuse my language. So we're asking questions from a very limited level of intelligence and we don't know where we came from. Now, that's not a strike at nobody. That's just, that just shows you what we got to do. Because I didn't know. I'm not saying, listen. Yes, sir. Yeah. Where did we come from? Eternal spirit. Yeah, and where is that? Everywhere and nowhere all at once. You see what I'm saying? Now, how did we get here? Yeah, I'm about to tell you what it has to do with it. Right? I'm about to tell you because, I'm giving you the path. Right? So you're correct from my perspective. So now let me just tell you something. Then I'm not giving you an absolute truth. I'm giving you a perspective and a lens so that it can take you up and out of where you are. Okay, so we came from the ethers or we came to eternal life. How did we get here? Yeah. Now how? Now let me tell you. How is through consciousness? Now, the pair of entities are your what? That got you here. That's the portal. But not the portal ain't the pair. The portal is the mama, the womb, the universal uterus, right? So now consciousness, so picture yourself as an etheric being. I would call this a fourth dimensional being that wanted to incarnate to realize yourself in the physical to see if you could be in the physical what you are in the invisible. Dimensions? Yeah, the third dimension is the physical material world. The fourth dimension is more of the spiritual world. The fifth dimension is the energetic light world. And these worlds each have different powers and roles that we all embody. We embody the, I would say the electrical light body through our chakras. The spirit speaks to you through intuition. The spirit processes the light codes and then speaks to the will of the human flesh through the will. And your focus will does what? Manifest. So the purpose of having a body from this perspective is because you are manifesting something. I say You're clearing up your galactic karma, the karma that you have beyond this planet, that you created, right? You want reparations? We got some stuff we got to repair too. And then your galactic purpose on it. So now when you identify that, you walk on this physical plane, this gravitational plane, very different. You see? You walk very different because you're walking with purpose. You're walking, when you have a galactic purpose, you ain't just a number. But somebody programmed you through reduction to make you think that you're something less than you are. And so we fighting against that. But when you fight against it, you end up having to fight against yourself. See? Well, because you accepting a lesser part of you, right, that's untrue. The truth is, I am the physical, I am the spiritual, and I am the energetic light aspect of myself that came here from the etheric realm, that came here from everlasting life to go back to the source. But why do you come? To demonstrate that you can do what you can in the body, in the spirit. Okay? Now that's how I see it. And that's the only way I can see it to make sense of what happens. The only way I can see what happens to a people, or what happens to children, or what happens to old women, or whatever happens, is because of galactic karma. Unresolved karma. Nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to talk about what's done to them, but what did you do? And what do you need to clear up? So it amazes me the number of spiritual practitioners, they don't even think they got to clear up their karma. What? So you get to muck stuff up, but you don't got to fix it? You don't let your kids do that. You don't do that nowhere. That's not how it works in the balance of the universe. Because what happens is you keep reliving the karma until you fix it. And that opens the pathways for you to fulfill your purpose. Now, I got some different ways of determining your purpose through the cosmology that we teach, the Olmec and the Mayan cosmology, through kin numbers, knowledge integrated naturally from the etheric realm. And so this is what works for me, right? And so this is a quest, this is a journey for you to figure out how to go beyond and be non-linear and multidimensional. Now, I know I talk loud and I get excited, but does this make a little bit of sense what I'm saying? Can you accept some of it? Because I'm talking different here than most people hear people talk. But don't we need something different? I mean, what we were doing, working so well, we'd be a little bit further, don't you think? That's what I started thinking. So I'm not going to just accept these results that I know if I have an unlimited being in me, I'm not going to just accept that when I know there's something unlimited in me that's trying to get me to be more. Do more, know more, and have more. Right? And so that's what we're here to do. That's what we're debating about. That's what we're trying to figure out. But at the end of the day, guess what? We won. Period. You see? So when I talk about the synchronistic human, then we're talking about becoming multi-dimensional, and those dimensions that I talked about have intelligence that give our psyche and our consciousness validity to do things beyond the physical. Because we're limited to physical. We can only live so much physically. But spiritually, we can do something that's tremendous. And if we ever tap into that fifth dimensional aspect of ourselves, truly tap into the mind, the imagination. Are you aware that this imagination that I'm talking about, this fifth dimensional aspect of us, everything from the imaginal realm influences the physical, or we call the phenomenal. Everything you see came out of somebody's imagination. Am I correct on saying that? Or where did it come from? Did it just pop up? No, somebody decided to create it or build it or attract it. So what you gonna do with your imagination? Do you even use your imagination? I didn't even use mine. I was so busy. Oh, let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see what somebody's imagination is saying on TikTok. Let me see what somebody, let me look on this YouTube and see what their imagination is talking about. And let me entertain myself with that. But you know, you got imagination, and you can create something so dynamic. All right, so that's why we're talking about this multi-dimensional being that you need to become, that you need to remember that you are, or else everything just gonna stay the same. And we're gonna have to fight a fight. We don't even have to fight. We gotta fight because we've accepted the limitations. So when we have to stop accepting the limitations, guess what? Well, let's just find out. There's only one way to find out. That's what I say. If you really want to know something, there's only one way to find out. And so I just decided, well, let me try and see and find out on my own. Now that I found out some things, I'm sharing what I found out. Y'all with me? All right, so now we can talk about the rest of this because, you know, I know I come up here talking. So what we're going to talk about, who are we, the kin, knowledge integrated nationally. We call it the kin of the plasma, the kin of the day. I don't like using the word day and days. We're not in the days and we're not weak. That's the programming of the oppressor. We're not in the days and we're not weak. Plasma is how consciousness travels. They have a model called the plasma. How many of y'all heard of the Big Bang Theory? Yeah, that's a violent force. That's trickery. That's where all the illusion came from. Also have a theory called the plasma universe model, and that it was created from the ring, not the bang. The ring, not the bang. The ring is the sound, the primordial sound from the cataclysmic force that came together, that they say was the bang theory. And the sound, the resonance of sound, created plasma. And so how do we know this? The plasma that was back then, we got plasma in our veins, right? Yeah, the plasma. What does the plasma do in your body, in the blood? It heals you, right? It has cold in it, right? The sun has plasma. We know that. Oh yeah, you look it up. The sun has plasma. Everything is plasma, and this is how consciousness travels, and this is how we get as a cosmic antenna on the earth. This is how we get notions beyond our senses. Can you feel certain things? Can you feel certain movements? Extrasensory, telepathic, that's why. But we don't understand it or understand it, so we just keep it to ourselves. And some people rock great powers. They don't tell nobody, but they don't want to get put in the straitjacket and get doped up in the sixth ward. But what we do, am I telling the truth? I'm telling you, don't say nothing, because they're going to turn you in. Your whole family's going to turn you in and say, now that's enough now. You know, they're going to turn you in, and they're going to think something wrong with you. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You're tapping into your other selves. And nobody wants you to do that because can't nobody control you when you tap into that other aspect of your being. All right? Kin of the plasma. We're going to talk about some of the things we got going on with our summer semester term, and then we're going to get into how to play the cash flow game. You tracking so far all right? Am I answering y'all questions? Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Who are we? We're a progressive group of cosmic beings that are highly intelligent, intuitive, telepathic, and laser beam focused on evolving. Now, the key word is evolving. Now, I'm going to ask y'all something. Is there anything wrong? Anybody got a problem with evolving? The word evolve. If you look at the first four letters spelled backwards, what does it say? What's evolving say? So before you can even evolve, which is go beyond where you were, you got to love yourself. Now, who is yourself? Is it this physical being that's endured this life, or is it something more? So I've taken on the self as something more. It's unlimited in power, right? EL is the derivative of God. EL, yeah. Yeah, the EL, right? The El Shaddai, some of the church folks, right? So now, how do we tap into that when we're going through financial struggles? How do we tap into that when we're going through physical struggles, health struggles? Is the question that I would be asking if I wanted to what? Evolve. And so I want to evolve. So I'm asking those type of questions. Just like you asking me these questions, I'm asking them to my what? Myself. But if we don't trust our intuition, we won't ask ourselves. We'll ask somebody that don't even know themselves about yourself. And look at where that's going to get you. Look at where it's going to get you. It's going to get you broke, busted, disgusted, frustrated. And now we can pretty much determine what's going to happen then after that. Now we got to take that out on what we think is going on out there versus the war. The war is in here, family. The war is within. All right. So as we do this, we're laser beam focused on evolving throughout the journey of remembrance. We're remembering a greater aspect of who we are to fulfill our galactic purpose. Now, if we have a galactic purpose and we came to the Earth, we got a different mission than the people that don't know they have a galactic purpose that's on the Earth. They don't even know how they got here. That's why we're asking the question, how did we get here? That has a lot to do with where your mentality is about where your consciousness is and what you can do on this gravitational physical place. You see? All right. So that's who we are. We're tapping in the cosmic. There's a vision statement here, and the vision statement is to transcend our minds deep into our cosmic memory circuits as we awaken from a deep state of amnesia. It's my belief that we're in a deep state of amnesia in terms of consciousness. All right. In order to move from the information age into the telepathic age of our existence and establish a new world of highly telepathic beings. Now that's powerful because if we tap into the mind and our telepathic, it goes beyond more than what I can tell what you're thinking and what you're thinking and what you're thinking. My telepathic group, we did a remote viewing exercise. We went back to 1582 when they started this calendar that's been programming us for over 400 plus years, 443 years now, programming us, right, to capitalize on us, to colonize us, right? And so with that being the case, we went back to see, well, how did it start, right? And so they skipped the first 10 days. This is what put us in the weekdays because they were correcting the errors of the Julian calendar as it relates to the leap years. They didn't do it correctly according to astronomers back then. And so then our attention was redirected to exploring the new world instead of the consciousness that we need to be masters of the universe. So our attention was taken off of that, or we allowed our attention to be diverted. And so now here's we're exploring the new world. When we explore the new world, now we can reach the land. What do you want to do? Possess the land. So when you want to possess the land, what you going to do? Colonize. Then you got to enslave the people. Now you got people mentally incarcerated. They don't even got, they got it mentally incarcerated now. Mental slavery because of the technology. And so that is the aspects that we need to disarm. If we want to free our mind so that we can remember who we are and what we came here to do and be so that we can advance this civilization. And we're the ones to do it because we're of the earth and of the galaxy. The others are just other technology for the most part. All right. So to transcend our minds deep into our cosmic memory circuits as we awaken from a deep state of amnesia in order to move from the information age, from being informed, to a telepathic age of our existence and establish a new world of highly telepathic beings, highly intelligent beings. You know how intelligent you got to be to incarnate with a body? Because we only think physical. We don't think, well, what's the intelligence? Is a God outside of us? Is that what did it? Is a God that got 8.6 million people on the stream and say, okay, now it's time for you to incarnate. Now it's time for you to incarnate. And it's watching every one of us individually, or is it in us? I don't see anything watching 8.6 billion aspects of consciousness and regulating what it can do and be. But I can say that power being in us. just like the ocean, right? Is the wave part of the ocean or no? It is. Yeah, she's here. She's sitting right here. Oh. Okay. We'll have a seat. Yeah, you ain't late. You right on time. Okay. So what I'm saying here that's so important is that if we only see God as outside of us, then you're never going to know the God inside. And so what does that mean? You're going to be limited to your physical limitations, your triggers, your frustrations. This made me do this. You're always going to be a victim of circumstance. Circumstance happened and this is what happened to me. Versus I'm happening to it. Which one you want to do? I decided, let me try this, me happening to it and see what happens. And something phenomenal happens. All right? Are most of y'all actually natives from Detroit? Grew up in Detroit and everything? Man, where did you, what? Now, somebody got me and they said Arkansas. I said Arkansas. They said, did y'all be fighting over how to pronounce it? Nope. You always said Arkansas, right? Okay. Well, definitely, that's good. It's amazing. I've lived in Atlanta for 32 years. I'm looking to relocate to the Virginia Beach area. Just want to be by the ocean, but we're moving about different ways. And so, how long have you been in Detroit? 40 years. Okay. You've seen a lot of changes here. All right, so those of you that are online, which city, put in the chat, which city are you from? Are you watching from? Put it in the chat. We got most of the people here, except for one person from Detroit. We're in Detroit, Michigan. We're holding it down. All right. And we have one elder that's originally from Arkansas. Are you originally from Detroit? Yes, you're from the Caribbean. Okay. So we got somebody also in the room from the Caribbean. We got somebody from Detroit. And so, okay, we got Durham, North Carolina on the live stream. We got Johnny Boy St. Louis. What's up, Johnny Boy 13? Welcome and thank you for joining us. What else we got? I know Noria, she's in the DC, the DMV area. Sharon Morris, Chesapeake, Virginia. Brother Emerson, what city are you in? I forgot. Queen, Muja. Oh, I miss you too. Atlanta, GA. So we got people that's not just watching this and listening to this here in Detroit. We got people that's all throughout the country that's listening to this. And just know that the Synchronistic Hueman and Neb Teharka is coming to a city near you. Just know that. All right? And we're going to address the issue just like we're addressing it here. All right. So now this next part is about kin. Now, somebody asked me, Mr. Brenner asked me, they're here, where's the cosmology, or where are you getting this information from? And so the cosmology that we follow is Olmec and Mayan cosmology. Olmec are the original Mexicans, the descendants of the Mayans, are called the She people. XI. It's XI, but it's pronounced She. XI, right? And so they follow up to 17 different calendars. And so somebody would say, why would you follow that many calendars? But their mind is very sophisticated. They were able to, like the Dogon, tap into telepathy. They had a very telepathic mind. They're very telepathic mind. Yes, peace, brothers. And so they were able to see star systems without telescopes. How powerful is that? Right? So these kin numbers, like kin, we know what kinfolk is, right? We're the kinfolk, that's our relatives. Right? So when we talk about our galactic kin, we're talking about the galactic community of individuals who think outside the physical realm. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want to evolve, you're going to have to think outside this physical realm. you're going to have a spiritual system, and you're going to have the alchemy of energy, the electrical light aspect of yourself, to move into the supernatural. That's what you're going to have to be able to do. Because if you limit it to just the physical, and we're dealing with all this technology, the technology is just going to swallow you up. Let me tell you why. The first program, the technology, gets us tuned in to programs, right? The artificial programs make you an artificial being. The first program is called scarcity, that I like to talk about. I'm not saying it's the first program, it's the first one I want to talk about. Because once I can get you scared, that means you ain't prepared. But when you're prepared, what's up? When you know that you ain't worried about nothing. Right? So when you prepare, you ain't scared. But scarcity gets you to think that there's limited resources. There's not enough. And then what's going to happen next is you're going to think you're not enough. And then now you're going to get treated as such in this physical realm. You see how that works? From scarcity, it moves to consumerism. So now because you're scared there ain't enough resources, now you start consuming and hoarding because you don't think it's enough. And then now you start, what kicks in? The emotion of greed kicks in. Because I need to have more than I need because it ain't enough. More than what you think you need. Right? And so now you keep consuming until you get consumed by your consumptions. That's what greed does. Right? You end up getting consumed by what you get. If you eat, if you consume food so much, then you're going to end up what? Denigrating your health because you're eating too much. You're consuming too much, and it's going to what? Override the body. You feel me? So these are things that are very important that we must, these ideas and concepts we must really wrap ourselves into if we expect to advance ourselves on the physical. You got to go beyond the physical in order to advance in the physical. Okay? So with this, let's talk about kin. So the day you were born on the 13-moon calendar. So what we do is follow the 13-moon calendar. Now, I thought it was some spookism when I got started. But does anybody in here know why? Anybody online that's not part of our school, does anybody know why we follow the 13-moon calendar? Does anybody know why we follow the 12-month calendar? Did Carson talk about it yet? Did Carson talk about 13-moon calendar yet? But anybody even know why we follow the 12-month calendar? Put it in the chat. Those of y'all in the chat too, there's so many different places. Why do we follow the 12-month calendar? Julius Caesar, right? I would say the government that's governmental has programmed us to follow the calendar of conquest and capitalism. Right? And that calendar makes us what? Creators or consumers? Consumers. And is a consumer weaker or stronger than a creator? Weaker. Right? You see the concept? So from step one, we already stepping off into a weaker state. And it's consciousness, it's awareness. It's not, nobody questions, all right, I guess I got to start here then. So guess what you got to start off doing? Fight for everything. If you start on the weaker state, you got to fight to have anything, or you'll have nothing. Right? And so we got to teach everybody else to do the same thing. But once you come in and realize in your consciousness, I'm a creator. I'm here to create. That the energy that I'm producing produces art on this physical planet. Then it's a whole different mentality now. Because creators create ways not to be encapsulated or colonized or enslaved or anything like that. We're going to create the way where you don't even want to fool with us like that. Exactly. And so that's what we're remembering, that aspect of our being, because we already had it. We already had it, but we in a state of amnesia. And so we got to come out. So I got to electrocute you when I talk to you. I got to talk to your heart to trigger your what? Your memory. I ain't almost got to make you mad. I ain't afraid to make you mad because when you're mad, something about to happen. Something about to change. Now we just got to say what? You see? So that's what happens here, and that's what helps us get into a more powerful state of mind and being. All right? So when we talk about the kin, the Olmec and the Galactic Maya, they follow two distinct calendars in particular. The 13 moon calendar, the reason why they follow 13 moon calendar is because the moon has how many cycles a year? Anybody know? 13. So if the moon has 13 cycles, why are we following something with 12? 13. Did you say, I'm sorry? Oh, say that again? Oh, yeah. If the moon has 13 cycles a year, why are we following a 12-month calendar? Yeah. Yep, the Gregorian calendar has 12 months. And it's the patriarchal calendar. Yep, the Roman Catholic, the Julius Caesar calendar, and then now it's the Gregorian calendar. No, well, not exactly, because in the northern hemisphere is different from the southern hemisphere, right? The seasons. So the seasons are flipped. But you know what? Okay, Sister Sabrina, I got some. Oh yeah, I got some for you. Check this out. How many cycles does the female have a year when it's normal? When your menstruation cycles are normal?
The question is,
How many days when normal are you supposed to have a menstruation cycle?
28.
28, huh? Now somebody get their phone out and multiply 28 times 13 and tell me what you get. Yep. So that is 28. So the moon has a mean average. They track it two ways. The mean is the average between the two, basically, of 28 days. It takes the moon to revolve around the earth, right? And the female has a 28-day cycle, a reproductive cycle that when normal, reoccurs. And so is the female mimicking the moon, or is the moon mimicking the female? That's a good question, ain't it? Yeah, you gotta think about it. And let me tell you, whatever you decide is right. Because I think the moon is mimicking your cycle. I think it's magnetized to the consciousness of the essence of the female.
So that's why the moon is referred to as she.
Yep, and the sun is she too. I'm telling you, if you look at the sun stays still. You see, so when you talk about the ovum, right? They chase the sperm, but the sperm chase the ovum. So it magnetizes it, right? So the sun is, according to what they say in astronomy, is the sun stays still, and what the planets revolve around the sun. So the sun is female too. Okay? Now, when we get deep like this, now what does that mean? That means that we shouldn't be following artificial calendrical systems. Because if the moon is mimicking you and it's helping your creativity, what's the essence of the female? The spiritual and creative aspect, the right side of the brain. And so that's been reduced. Go ahead, Sister Sabrina. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're 70, I don't want to say they're 70 behind, but their power is 50.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, yeah, because they got all these calculations different. Like everybody has something different going on in their mind about how to track time, but they're trying to do it from a third dimensional mind. Time is the evolution of consciousness. You can't manage time unless you manage your evolution. And then it becomes what you create in space. But in the 3D, we're going to get this clock here, this consciousness lock, and we're going to intimidate you in times and dates. That's where intimidation comes from. I learned that from Baba Wanid Shabbat. In times and dates. We should be, because frequency, in my opinion, is the new currency. It ain't crypto, because we magnetize it with our mind. But when we just reduce the limitations of our physical, we don't even think like, oh, maybe the moon is mimicking us versus we mimicking it. Because depending on where your consciousness is going to determine how you think and how you operate in this physical body. And so that's important for us to know. Because if you operate in just your physical, you limited. You're severely limited. And you can only get so far. I don't care how strong you are. Right? It don't matter how much you work out. I do 30 pull-ups right now. It don't matter with certain things though. You see what I'm saying? It don't matter. What matters is what we can move with our mind. Consciousness. And so we got to, this is why I'm having this kind of conversation. Is math? Matter, yes. Yeah. If your concept is you need, why do you need tracking? Well, what if you already know where you're going? What if you already know where you came from? My man. Because I asked you that way. Because before you came, what did I ask? How did you get here? Where did you come from? And if you came from consciousness, you already knew how you're going to get here because you made an intervention from the invisible or the etheric realm into the physical realm. And then your next mission is to get back to the source. The remembrance, not recalling like you're being tested on how to remember some flashcards, but you're putting yourself back together as the whole being. All aspects of the being. You see what I'm saying? So if you ain't doing that, then you're in the amnesia still, trying to operate in the physical. So that's going to be very hard to manage when you got all this artificial technology and all these biases and all these different things and programs that got you operating with your physical limitations. And so what I'm trying to do, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to trigger your memory so that you'll see something greater than what you are or what you think you are right now. No question. No question. No question, dear brother. Listen, I was there. I was in the limitation. Into what realm? The realm is the real me. This, let me tell you. She gave a tribute to Dr. Jewel Pookrum. I joined her brain balancing program 10 years ago. And it was said, all right, I got to stare at some geometry and some symbols. They're supposed to make me more intelligent. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, are you familiar with Dr. Jewel Pookrum? You familiar with Dr. Jewel Pookrum? Just a little bit? Yeah, so I was a student of hers, and I ended up really advancing very fast. I didn't know much about it, but what she said made sense to me. She said, well, by you focusing on sacred geometry, mathematics matter, right? But the original design, that what it does is it increases the neurons in your brain. And when the more neurons you have, the more intelligent you can be. So what I did is I said, okay, well, if that's true, I didn't know if it was true yet. This was 10 years ago. I had my doubts because I hadn't done it, right? But what happened was I said, well, I'm going to study this law of time stuff, law of time being fourth dimensional, really concepts about science and mathematics, fourth dimensional concepts, how they see it from the etheric one versus the physical. Basically, that's what it is. And these whole mind concepts, because I felt like those were incorruptible. Like let me give you an example. The decimal mathematical system, right, is a 10 count. Yes? It's a binary code of what? Ones and O's. Ones and O's. Right? But it's also the programming tool for what? Artificial intelligence. Yeah, if you look at programmers, it's 1 and O's. If you look at the movie The Matrix, you'll see a bunch of 1. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's the decimal mathematical system that fuels what I call the artificial matrix, or it fuels what I call the 1260 frequency, the 12-month calendar, which if you just with the females in the room, does it feel right? 12 if you got 13. You cram in 13 cycles into 12. It don't even feel right to even listen to it, right? But we do it because we're the blind leading the deaf. That's what everybody else does, so I'm going to figure it out. Right? But I think a lot of the fibroids, a lot of the issues that the female have is disrupted because of how we're not on our own cosmology. And we need the female to be on that cosmology. Not Greg and them cosmology. Because Greg ain't got no cycle. Gregorian and them, they ain't got no menstruation cycle. Their males got menstruation cycle? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Listen. Yeah. Yeah, the turtle. Right, the turtle. Yeah, hey man. Quiz me. Listen. I'm waiting any question you got, bring it. I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? It's the turtle. Right? But the cycles of 13, you guys caught up with me about that's how many cycles it takes the moon per year to revolve around Earth, 13. So now we need to get into what these cycles mean to our evolution versus what somebody programs us and tells us. Go ahead, brother. 13. But they only talk about how many? Overyeekers, it's the serpent. So why don't they talk about that? Come on. You see what I'm saying? So because knowledge yourself. So now, ain't that diabolical? We need everything. So that's why I don't follow astrology unless it's taught from the 13 zodiac constellations, because I know now I'm equivalent, huh? Say it again. The 13 one is Ophiuchus, the serpent, and the reason why they excluded it, I'm gonna show you a synchronicity, is because it only has 19 days in the constellation. Synchronicity. So you took it out of my mouth, and I got another one for you. The projectable mathematical system governs natural time. The decimal, artificial time. The vigesimal, Bigesmal, is a 20 count. And when your mind works in patterns of 20, it thinks different than the mind that works in 10 counts. And so you got to try it. You got to connect with the 13 moves to see if your creativity increases, divine feminine. And if it does, Hold on. I'm doing this presentation. You say that I practice with this. Yeah, how can it not? That's like saying, well, how come I got 13 cycles a year? How come my reproductive system is 28 days each? What? Why is it 28 days? There you go. That's how it's created. So what happens is you get synchronicities, or you see things that resemble your own being, and you follow them. Now, if you know you got 13 cycles and you see a 12 cycle, what could possibly make you say, I'm going to just go ahead and follow this? Now, we already did that. And so now we got fibroids and all this other kind of stuff. And so what you searching for when you know that don't work? 13. And then what you do is you connect mentally and psychologically with each aspect of the 13 and see what it awakens in you. It may awaken something different in you than you, or me, or her, or him, or him. You see? But let me tell you something else. The reason why this is complex is because we all operating at different levels of consciousness. We're not operating in the same consciousness. Or the same frequency. And so therefore, I can't tell you what you're going to experience based on what I experience. So you have to, with your ear and your heart, listen to the intuition from your consciousness, taking you from where you are to where you're going based on where you are on this journey of your Absolutely. I'm talking about it right now. I'm about to introduce it. You see? That's the cosmology. You asked me that. And so I started practicing this 10 years ago while I was brain balancing. And Dr. Pookrum said, I answered quickly. It was so quick. In 2 months, I started teaching. This was the end of January 2015. And I didn't have much knowledge. And I was afraid, actually, because I said, I don't think I'm ready for that. I'm new. I've only been studying this 2 months. He said, have you seen your mental potential and your emotional intelligence? Whatever you're doing is skyrocketing. So I didn't tell her what I'm about to tell you at the time. I didn't tell her that not only was I brain balancing more times than she said, she only said, only do it 2 to 3 times a day. I was doing it 4. And she frowned upon that, but I did anyway, but I took a risk. And then, watch this, I was studying this law of time, the decimal mathematics, and the hollow mind procedure, the whole mind, the 7 mental spheres that she talked about, while my neurological activity was increasing in my brain. So I was green, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just said, it would make sense that if I'm going to increase my neurological activity, I study something different than what I've been already taught. I don't need to master that. That's going to keep me trapped in the realm I don't want to be in. So that's how I got out the matrix. I kept on studying this cosmology while I kept brain balancing. So then I went to the advanced program. So to give you an idea, she was saying that it took some people 2 years for their brain to balance and lock the hemispheres. So this is corpus callosum. Anybody familiar with the corpus callosum? Corpus callosum development. That's the plasma that connects. What is plasma? Semi-liquid electricity that connects the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere and gets them to communicate. The logic and the emotional spiritual. Right? The divine is the corpus callosum. The masculine is the left and the feminine is right. It's a circuit. We don't separate it. But what do? We separate. And now what is it doing? Fighting against each other. This one is better than this one. No, it's one circuit. It's one circuit. That's what it is. You see? And if you don't treat it as one circuit, you're going to be divided in what? In every aspect of your being. And you're going to have to fight knowing you don't even know you're going to be conquered yet. Because you're not unified within yourself. Let me give you another synchronicity. How many cornerstones do you have? No, you have 46. There you go. How many is that? 46. So you have 23 male chromosomes and 23 female. So divinity is unifying the male and female aspects in you. I got another one for you. I want you to practice it. I'm giving you some nuggets today. How many of y'all prayed before? Pray. Pray before? Okay. Somebody, who can pray? Who can pray in here? Seriously. You pray? How do you pray? Yeah, I want you to share. Hold on a second. But check this out. When we pray, you know, here's how I pray. First, I give thanksgiving and gratitude for all that I have. Right? Then I ask God certain questions. The God in me is what I'm at. And then I tell God. What do I tell God? God, show me the way. God, help me take advantage of opportunity. God, give me the strength. You know what I said that? To get through this day. Now watch this. Who the hell you think you are to give God some orders? Who? What is the only thing that can give God a command? The essence of God, which is what? The goddess, the female aspect of your being. So instead of trying to control and calculate the female, you shutting yourself off from half of your energy field in your body. Because you're invoking the female aspect of yourself, if you're a male, to become whole and complete and supernatural. And the same thing with the female. When you cut off the male, then you cut off the electric side of you. So now you magnetize. So what you magnetize? So if you're magnetizing something that ain't helping you, then you magnetize it because you only got part of you. You're not whole and complete. And so we're fractured in that way. And in our consciousness. And that's why we have a struggle, in my opinion. And it is my opinion. It's not a fact. Yes, sir. Come on with it. It brings intelligence. The code. The DNA.
What do we for?
It helps activate. For the baby, you said? I'm not sure exactly for the baby. So tell me what you the percentage sack what now? Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good knowledge. I didn't know that. Now, what does the placenta sac do? Right? See? Yeah. Now, let me tell you what happens in the placenta. That baby, now, do you think that baby is more God or artificial when it's a baby, when it's a fetus? Now listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. If you came from the ethers, I'm talking about consciousness. If you talk about the physical placenta, now I'm taking you into the spiritual aspect and the energetic light aspect of the placenta. That is the universe. Right there. And that universe, this is why the baby mad. There's God trapped in a little baby body. And some of us are going to have to do the juice box and the car seat again. I heard High Priest my aunt say that. Because we didn't fulfill our mission this time. You see what I'm saying? So the ideal, I love his question, and I didn't know that exactly. I knew that, but I wasn't sure what you were asking me. But because you said it, the knowledge we get, we need to put it in 3 dimensions. Physical, spiritual, and then energetic. The energetic piece is the electric and the electromagnetic spectrum. How we create with this mind. And so all we do is respond to what's created. right now. Because we have to remember that we create what's created with our mind. And when we get there, then we start to see different things happening in our reality. But as long as we stay responding and reacting to what's already been created, well, we're always going to be fighting. And it's going to be an uphill climb, in my opinion. So let's talk about this kin real quick, and then we're going to get into the game. All right. The day you were born on the 13-moon calendar, I'm going to show you, is coded by your galactic signature. Now, why do I use the word galactic? Because if you came from the ethers, the etheric realm, right, the ancestral, the celestial realm, and you incarnated through a pair of entities in the physical for a particular purpose, then what kin expression or what consciousness did you come from? So there's 260 expressions of the Creator. So these Olmec and Mayans, they follow a 260-day calendar because there's 13 cosmic tones, the primordial sound, the harmonics, and then there's 20 dynamic frequencies of light. And what they did is they took the two, and when you multiply 20 times 13, what do you get? 20 times 13, what is it? 20 times 13? Get your phone out. Ooh, 260, right? Yep, 260. So that means there's 260 according to this cosmology. So sometimes you got to reference by saying according to this. So you can what? Test it. 13, 20 times 13. 13 cycles, 13 tones, times 20. Yeah, go ahead with your question. No, your Olmec. Your Olmec from what side? Your Olmec. Your Olmec are the ancestors, but the Maya means illusion. You know that? Maya means illusion. Yeah. Yeah, they're Mayan, but you got to talk to them about the Olmec. That's their ancestors. So who built them pyramids? The Mayans built it, or the Olmec built it? The Olmec built it. No, the Olmecs, they migrate. They're not there no more. You can see, you know, big stones. Well, you don't see nobody looking like that around Mesoamerica like that. Yeah, because they've migrated other places now. Yeah, but now they've taken over the land. As the Mayans, as the illusions of what? The Olmecs. The Olmecs are the ancestors of the Mayans. So what? White people call themselves white folks. We call ourselves black. It don't matter what you call yourself. What matters is whatever you think you are, you are. But that's why we got to have this kind of conversation so we can say, well, where did they come from? Just like, where did you come from? Well, the Olmecs came out of Africa and migrated to Mesoamerica. Or a lot of people were already here. There's pyramids all over North America. Did y'all know that? Okay. So how do you know they all came from Africa? You don't. Listen, they're all over everywhere. If we were not everywhere, there'd be nobody anywhere. Yeah, they're not made the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're all different. But I'm just saying the Mayans didn't build pyramids. They occupied. They didn't build them. The Olmecs. The Olmec built them. Okay? So with that being the case, so now what significance does this kin number have in terms of awakening your consciousness? I don't care where you're from. If your consciousness is not aware, what you want me to do?
So it would make sense to you to attribute whatever you're learning from a system that comes out of your ancestry.
Well, it is a system that comes out your ancestry. but you're just not looking deep enough. What about this galactic consciousness? What about your spiritual ancestors?
About the linear way of thinking was functioning of a human. And that's how it's
But listen, you coming to me linear because you talking, right? You coming to me like my ancestors got to be the same kind of way, but I'm trying to get you into consciousness. So where did they come from? Your ancestors. Where are they and where did they come from?
You mean their origin?
Their consciousness, sister.
Oh.
Yeah, well, no, you're fine. No, listen. I'm gonna get in you because I know what you can do once to get in you. So I'm gonna get in you because anytime you stay stuck in this physical, I'm gonna be right here to say, no, but where's the consciousness of them? Where is that? Right, and you asking me questions that we got to really work on because you're asking me questions and somewhat doubting what I'm saying because you have not tapped into the depth of consciousness that I have. So now I have to teach you and bring you up to speed of how I got to the consciousness that I'm at so you can see where you're at and so that you can look at this with a different lens. So you keep looking at it with the same lens, you're going to get the same result. And that's fine with me because it's not my journey. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. So the brothers don't help with the consciousness right now.
Oh.
That's a good way to put it. So what I'm saying here is that I'm challenging everybody to go beyond this physical, and it's hard. That's how I know it's a program. That's why I've been doing it 10 years. You know how many of these type of discussions I've had? These type of battles, these type of things. But what is it? Race first. So that's just what we do. We endure whatever we got to endure because, you know, in our history, competition, we made everything better. We didn't kill each other. We made each other sharper. We can't run from that, you see? Yeah, but what I'm challenging you, Sister Sabrina, is that now you want to ask that question behind the question. Where did they come from that you found? And then where did they come from? And then now you start finding your way back to the source of your incarnation. Good. You don't grow in a comfort zone. You want to stay comfortable? Stay stuck, but you don't grow in a comfort zone. Get uncomfortable. It's like you work out. You still feel comfortable? No, you must hurt. This brain needs to hurt. You need to feel uneasy. I need to make you uncomfortable so that you can reach your fullest potential. And you need to stand 10 toes until you can find that segue to go to that next level. Don't just take my word from it. I'm glad you asked the question. We should welcome this. Because like I said, everybody at different levels of consciousness. And then what happens later when we get wise? What happened when we were teenagers and we thought we knew every damn thing? And now we're older. If I knew back then what I know now. What happened? Your consciousness advanced. You're elder now. You know what you know from experience, not from no propaganda or what somebody has said. They heard somebody say something and said something. They heard somebody else say it. They whisper down the lane. You know from experience. So don't act like you don't know now because I'm giving you some concepts you ain't comfortable with. Get comfortable. Get the knowledge. Know the letters. Don't just get the information that's fractured online. Get the knowledge and say, oh, now this is going to help me become more whole. And the more whole you become, guess what? The more effective. Yes, sir. Right. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Uh-huh. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir. Teach, teach, teacher. No. Exactly. It's gonna take some strong folks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. It's a wrap. And listen, I've been looking at, I'm gonna show you. See, you keep asking how, but ask why. Ask why too. Well, it already is. Because again, you ask how and why, first of all, you sitting here. But let's talk about Henrietta Lacks. Everybody know who Henrietta Lacks is? Okay, so how do they use her cells with all these treatments? Because the cells have consciousness. Yeah, so you know you are sharing everything I'm saying, and they're asking how and why too. Because you in a way, Mr. Briggs, you contradicting yourself. You already know this stuff, but it's something in you that's resisting yourself. You don't know how thinking can change the fate of your people? Yeah, that's the consciousness produces the mentality. Well, yeah, but you got to give it a chance. I mean, I'm not going to be able to show you. How long you been following the 12-month calendar? What do you follow then? How long you been following what you've been following?
I follow in respect to like the point in my job, but my spirituality, people look and say I do understand.
So what you follow? The Holton, the calendar, the 360-day calendar? What do you follow?
Similar to that, when we go outside, they go outside and look at the sun. So I do have a deep understanding about the leader.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I just sad, so I do have a favorite,
Yeah. So listen, first you got to learn the cosmology so you can practice it to be pragmatic. Now I'm just introducing. No. See, stop that. See, that's what we need to stop. How you know you're not the best at it? So you're just saying stuff. You see, and when you say, I gotta check you. or I'm not your brother. You don't even know your thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so if you ask me how, you know the answer, you're asking me how anyway, because it's innate, it's inside of you. Yeah.
Depends on how you in the state in the building. But the other stuff that you've been teaching us, I'm trying to figure out how to do all this.
But don't try to figure it out, just listen. How about you do that? How about just sit there and listen and learn and then now practice and then you'll see how. But you ain't gonna know how, like right now, this second, everything that I've been learning for 10 years, how it's gonna do it. So you get ahead of yourself. But let me tell you, if you take your time, you're gonna realize some stuff and you're gonna be like, you're gonna be up here telling me stuff I don't know. Oh yeah. Watch what I tell you. And so I don't got, and listen, I don't got no doubt about it at all. So I'm gonna show you how in a second, okay? But we covering a lot of different, yeah. So then what happened? That's Will's talking right there. Right. What is it? Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. And no, I can't teach it to you now, but I can introduce it to you so you can want to learn. So you have to, after this is all said and done, say, is this something I want to learn more about? Because I can't teach it to you right now. I can introduce it to you, you know, but like I bring up the Henrietta Lacks, you know, everything has consciousness because the sun has consciousness because it's doing something different than what we do. So this is all part of our consciousness on the fifth dimensional level. Energetic part of our mind. The mind, when we start breaking this thing down, we can see, well, how do we tap into that mind? What makes that energy move? Thought. So when we start connecting the dots, oh, well, wait a minute. Most people don't even know that the moon has 13 cycles. But then the first question to come up in the first person's mind is, well, how come I'm following 12 cycles? And I got 13. That makes you unnatural. Right? I got 13 cycles, but I'm trying to make me have 12. So now I'm trying to make something natural become unconventional. So that's a question. So your consciousness will tell you to ask that question. And when you find out the answer, you say, well, I'm not going to follow the 12 because I'm not a male. You see the decision? You do your due diligence and you say, whoa. Okay, yeah. So innately, that's why I say spiritually you know. But the program is fighting against you. Get them. The program is saying, get them at the knees, get them at the ankles. I don't understand it. But you do, you understand. I can tell, that's why I'm telling you, you understand it. Ain't no question about it. See? And so I done been through this rodeo several times with several people. And so once we get done going back and forth, I don't care if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, bing, they go off and say, aha. And then now I get to get my popcorn and watch the show. Because when you get to certain levels of consciousness and you exert the energy at that consciousness, somebody has to deal with you a little bit different than they dealt with you before, as they've had to deal with me. And they don't want to deal with you like that. They want to move on to somebody they can tell what to do. They don't want to deal with nobody that has a sophisticated thought process. They can't be programmed into thinking they're less than they are. And that's what happens with these programs. They get us stuck in the physical limitation, and I'm taking you into the spiritual aspect to expand consciousness, right? And then to evolve, I'm even saying you got to even go further than that to evolve. The spiritual just gives you awareness. Now, what you going to do with that awareness to fulfill your purpose here? Or do you even know your purpose? If you don't know your purpose, decide on what it's going to be. Decision. Your consciousness can decide what your purpose is going to be. You see? And so what I'm saying is take possession of your mind. And take the stronghold off of what somebody else has taught you. And now you be who you came here to be. And it ain't got to be like how I think. But they're going to have to deal with you. And they ain't going to want to deal with you. Nobody wants to deal with independent thinking. It's too much effort. Let me just go on to somebody that I can get to submit to this way of thinking that lets me take control of their mind. Lets me govern their mental. And as long as I can do that, I don't care who they say they are. And look at people are successful doing it. So we can't be our own enemy. The enemy is the enemy. It ain't out there. It's out there because it's a projection from what's in here. We got to go in here. And so what I teach at school is how to go in there. I ain't going to teach you tonight. Because I'll never get back to Ohio. I got to go back to Ohio tonight. Well, no, I don't live there. I'm moving to Virginia Beach from Atlanta. But I just drove. Let me tell you about my journey. I just drove from Virginia Beach to Ohio over a week ago to rest, then to Minnesota to get my 8-year-old. I got an 8-year-old and a 33-year-old. Then I drove back from Minnesota. I stayed there for a week when he got out of school. Now, I brought him back to Ohio, right, Friday, and then I came here today. Then I'm going back there today, and then I'm leaving a week from Ohio so my son can see his folks, and I'm going back to Virginia Beach. And I'm going to do an event. I'm doing an event in D.C. on the 27th. So what I'm saying is, look at my path. This is what I'm doing to go about and to make people uncomfortable. I want to make you uncomfortable, to be honest with you. Because why should we be comfortable if we're not where we want to be? Why should we find comfort in complacency if we know we're not where we want to be? And so that's where we got to come together in all of our discomfort and figure out how we're going to move forward. And you might not do everything exactly like what I do, but if I trigger that independent thinking in you that allows that physical to align with that spiritual, it's a game over. It's game over. I'm telling you, you're going to slay it. For real. Just with your energy and your presence is going to have people bow down. Because they say there's certain states of consciousness you can reach that influences hundreds of thousands of people at one time from their presence. So all you need to do is look into it and see, well, how can I do that? That's all I did. And so we all have the ability to walk with a certain atmosphere. I'm the smallest thing up in here. But I go to New York, Detroit, LA. I've been in all kinds of places by myself. But I know who I am. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I don't need a gun. I got my mind. I hope you get that damn gun turned against yourself. Like, well, I don't know why I'm pointing against it. Tell you to point it away. Shit. Ain't no damn gun. I got this mind over here. I done been to all the Bed-Stuy. I done been to all these places. I should be dead. But my consciousness said, no, we got a greater purpose for you. So I'm not afraid. You understand? I'm not afraid. Now, I'm not going to go down here and say, brag and all this kind of stuff, but if I'm being who I am, and if I come into some dangerous situations, I'm not afraid of them. Because I already know why I'm there. You see? So I'm not in scarcity. Hey, I am your son. Come on now. Well, you know, we can learn something from everything. I'm just saying that now it's time to see what we can learn from and we can advance from so we can what? So we can advance. All right? So we done spent some time on this, and I love this. We haven't got to the game, but we needed this conversation. Don't y'all think we needed this? I mean, what we supposed to do? Just put a muzzle on our mouth and not say nothing like we always do. And we got questions, and then now we leave here disempowered more than before we came. It doesn't make sense to do that. It doesn't make sense to do that. Okay, so let me just say this, and we're going to wrap this up. All right, so the day you were born on the 13-moon calendar is coded by your galactic signature. Your galactic signature is one of the 260 possibilities encoded in the Tzolk'in, or this is the 260-day calendar the Olmec and these Mayans use. By playing the role of your galactic signature, you allow yourself, your mind, fifth dimension, your body, third dimension, your spirit, fourth dimension, you're all of them, to vibrate at a particular frequency, and you broadcast it out to everyone around you. Does anybody know how you broadcast? Now I'm teaching. How you broadcast? What? Your heart broadcasts. Your heart has more electrical impulses than your brain. And guess what was created first in the fetus? You after that. What was created first in the fetus, the heart or the brain? I'm asking you. I'm getting you back for the placenta. The heart was created first. The heart is the key. You ever see in they measure the heart in a scale and an ostrich feather, right? And if you're way more than the ostrich feather, what happens? Right? Segment or the crocodile lion come and eat up your heart and take you into damnation. That's an Egyptian, ancient Kemet cosmology. Yeah, they at Judgment Day, they take your heart and put it in a scale, and if it weighs more than an ostrich feather, it means you have too much judgment in your heart, and the segment or the crocodile lion combination and the symbology will come and eat up your heart. And you had to go into damnation. You had to come in and do this incarnation again. Because, it's not true, right? Yeah, that's true. But the heart is the key, what I have found, to intuition and to accessing your cosmic memory. Because the heart already knows, because it came first in the fetus. But what happens is, so the master of mischief comes and programs your mind, right? And you have something called a subconscious, and your heart mirrors your subconscious. So that's why they always say, as a man or as a woman thinking in his or her heart, then so is she. So you can think up here in the mind, I'm going to stop smoking. But if it don't register down here, you ain't going to stop smoking. You're going to be like, oh, you're going to stop smoking one day, and you will be firing up another one. You see what I'm saying? You're going to say, I'm going to start working out. Right? But if it don't register in your heart, you ain't going to start working out. I say it's the spirit, and it's the seat of being able to evolve your consciousness. It's what I think the heart is, and what I've been experiencing. Because the whole key is to focus on your brain, but your brain is very clever. Because your ego gets involved. And so now you start, your ego starts to want to see things that's divided or undivided. So I look at divinity as undivided. So anything to divide you up, right? The ego is right there, I notice. And I said, aha. So I want it to be unified within me. I want it to be whole and complete. So what I notice when I do that, I get this warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart. And then my intuition speaks to me after this feeling, and I start saying, well, let me follow that. Now, it was very uncomfortable for me to do that, because the consciousness that my heart was speaking to me at was on a higher level than what I was operating at. So whatever got me into trouble, if you ever pray or say, oh man, if I could just get out of this situation. Well, the consciousness that got you into the situation is different than the consciousness that's going to get you out of the situation. Because you feedback looping now, right? So when the intuition speaks to you, say do X, Y, Z, what you going to say? No, that make me uncomfortable. Or you going to say, I don't know about that. I never did that before. That don't sound right. No, it ain't going to sound like any different than what he was talking about. If somebody teaching trigonometry and somebody in first grade, you can't give a better mistake. You see what I'm saying? So you got to meet on that level, right? But that intuition, it knows your level, and it's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to speak to you, and it wants you to trust it. This is how you see God's face, which is your face. In my opinion, that's how you see yourself. But if you don't listen to yourself, you don't listen to your intuition, now what? So now you're going against yourself, the unlimited power of yourself. So now you get what you deserve. Why would you go against yourself? They brought you here. They helped you incarnate. Why would you do that? But there's a program telling us to do that. So now somebody like me need to come and question it and say, now you question it if you want to, and see what you get. And then you're going to get the same data that I got. But, oh, this is another aspect of me speaking to me. So now I can move forward a little bit different. All right? So with that being said, I want to get everybody's PIN number, right? This school that we started in Atlanta in 2023, and of course I'm the founder and chancellor. We accepting students. It's online. We offer about 12 courses right now, and the law of time and its relationship with nature is what we talk about, and then the whole mind concepts that help us improve our self-image. So the self-image is the key. You know, you ever heard the saying that people will perish for the lack of vision? Well, I say you're going to perish because of the lack of image. The image is how you see yourself. Because you can see the vision and somebody else fulfill your vision. But until you decide I'm made in the image where I can fulfill this vision. That's when you're fulfilling the vision that you have for yourself. But decision. That's right. And you need precision with your decision. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right. You better now you got to figure out how to make the right decision. And your consciousness, your intuition will tell you how to do it, but you got to listen to it. You got to listen to it. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I believe this with all my heart. You see how I use that? The heart. Because in the heart, there's an ear in your heart. You hear with your heart. And the earth is in your heart. And so when you put all that together, now you can do things in the earth. But the image of yourself, your self-image has to already know that you're capable and able to do it. And that's why I told you, don't say you're not good at it.
No, I
But I'm gonna challenge you to say I am what you are. Because I am was the late, Reverend Knight, whether you like him or not. He said, I am is God. And anything you add to I am is added unto you. The words of power. Reverend Ike. You heard of Reverend Ike? Old school, yeah, he before his time. Yeah, Minister of Prosperity teacher, yeah. Yes, whatever you add to I am gets added unto you. See? So you say, damn right you're good, because the innate part of you is good at it. You just haven't remembered it yet. And then you come out of amnesia and be like, I'm not that bad at this. In fact, I'm pretty good at it. In fact, I'm mastering. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, scheduling and things like that.
7 years ago, once I came into the understanding of spirituality, they policies are different now.
Yeah. That resonates. Yeah, because your natural time, with the circadian rhythms and all that kind of stuff, align with that. That's trying to force you into a program that ain't gonna do nothing but create a limited aspect of yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. The new prophecy, a new consciousness. That's all it is. That's all it is. Listen, if you look at these books, religious texts, as they talking about me, and go from that perspective, you'll learn so much, because the journey is self-mastery. I mean, what else are you here to learn about? What else are you here to remember? Just everything that's going on, you're supposed to respond to that? It's self-mastery. If you're not doing that, what you doing? Yeah, just say they're talking about me. And the image is about me coming into the state of consciousness where I can be this. And you'll find yourself becoming. Because the first divine decree is to be. Yes, ma'am. And not in this presentation. I've been trying to get through the 13 moon calendar and stuff we talk about. But that's a whole other topic, you know, the bipolar. Yeah, we need to talk about that. And we do talk about it in some of our school, like High Priestess Nod and the priestess talks about melanin. But all of this plays a role in our consciousness and us being able to do certain things in this physical realm. And what I'm trying to get everybody to get is that we got to get non-physical. You can't get into your feelings. We got to get into, that's why they call it metaphysical. Get beyond your physical so you can move into sensory, into extrasensory, and telepathic knowing. And they exist in consciousness. And so if you got access to consciousness and they exist in consciousness, why are you not exploring these concepts? Because the programs are telling us to focus on, I got to feed the babies, I got to pay these bills, I got to do this, I got to fight these jokers who are trying to do this, these folks try to juggle my kids. You see what I'm saying? So there are distractions for that reason. But if you can get yourself focused enough to make a decision and say, well, I'm going to focus on this, you're going to see all that other stuff change. You're going to see all that other stuff change because your consciousness is magnetizing your circumstances. I call it the circumstantial persona. Yeah, your son knows something you're talking about. I had to figure that out, and I said, okay, let me give this a try. And so when I started doing different, I started experiencing different. And now I'm coming to you with experience, not concepts reading out of books. Example what? Oh yeah, no, okay, I'll give you good consciousness. Last year, March 20th, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Do I look like I got colorectal cancer? You see me do these 30 pull-ups, you're going to say, nah, I don't know what they diagnosed, but I made a decision in my consciousness. I said, this is for me to heal myself through these practices and to show others that they can heal themselves. I haven't been back to the doctor so they can tell me, we're going to cut this out, we're going to mutilate you, and then you're going to be good. No, God told me. God. Well, I've been to the doctor, but I haven't did a colonoscopy again or a scan because you put them dyes in you and all that kind of stuff. And so I did everything naturopath and healing from holistic. Now, it takes some guts to do that. When your whole family is telling you, oh, we're so worried about you. You need to go. You got to go. And that unconscious, you just get the surgery. Just get the surgery. No, why do I need to do that? Who told me I have to do that in order to heal? So that's one way to consciousness. I've been broke. Well, anybody ever been broke before? Yeah, I've probably been broker than y'all. I had to take them cold showers for 3 months. Me and my 33-year-old now take cold showers for 3 months because we can't really pay that gas bill. Yeah, because I was an entrepreneur trying to figure it out. And then somebody told me as a man thinker, you got to change your thinking. I said, really? How am I going to do that? It's easy. You just decide to. And I said, okay. And I made a feeble temporary decision, ain't nothing changed. And then I got focused. And I said, well, what do I got to lose? I'm going as hard as I can, as fast as I can, the best that I can. And then I had a breakthrough. Huge breakthrough financially. Yes. I'm not telling you what I saw on YouTube. I'm telling you what I did. You see what I'm saying? So my consciousness shifted and I said, that's enough. I've had enough. So I didn't do so much stuff. So when I got the diagnosis last year, I was like, I didn't do national campaigns on cancer. I was like, well, you got the right one. This is what we're going to do. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing. And if it don't work, oh well. But I know it's going to work because it's already been working. You got to have that kind of faith and that knowing within yourself that you defy the odds. But they got you trapped in the physical and they got you operating in this reality with limited power. And once you get all your power, then you realize something. I can do more than I'm doing right now. And then when you do more, you be more, you do more and have more, then you do it again. And then you do it again. And before you know it, you're doing stuff you never thought you could do. I never thought I would get a download from the cosmos. I thought that was for that Jew people in them to get. Then I started getting them. But my consciousness changed. My self-image changed. I am that I am can experience this. You see? So, was those a good example for you? Yeah, that's real. Yeah, well, listen, we ain't here to play around because there's so many charismatic. Huh? Yeah, we're going to play. We're going to play. What's the kid number? The Master of Illusion. The rhythmic sun, huh? 240. What? 240. Okay. You're my planetary partner. That's why we vibing like that. I'm the storm. I'm the blue overtone storm. I am power in order to catalyze, commanding energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the overtone tone of radiance. I'm guided by the power of accomplishment. So I came here to accomplish something. Right? Oh, yeah. You got to get on it. You got to get, because it's going to help you get into natural time. It's not the end-all cure-all. Let me just tell you. It's a bridge into extended consciousness so that you can master yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's what we need to do to stimulate this mind. So, Sister Yah has spoken. We're going to play the game. Yeah, we're going to get you, it's an affirmation that comes with it, and then it's some messages in there. And if it resonates with you, it might lead you deeper into the path of self-mastery like it did me. So, if you're open to it, if you're not open, it won't. But if you are open to it, you know, when we talk about galactic, when we start talking about these fancy words, we just mean expanded consciousness. And when you do the practices to experience that, then you have to see what insights come. So if you ask me how, well, I don't know, you got to let the insights come, and they'll tell you how. But you don't want me telling you how, because now I can control your mind. And that's what we've been doing. We've been agreeing to mind control all this time. We ask somebody else how versus asking yourself. And that's how we get into trouble. And what do they do every time? They bamboozle you. Even the people that look like you bamboozle you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So don't deceive yourself because you're going to experience what you're already doing to yourself in this physical reality. So don't deceive yourself. Ask yourself. Let yourself get the insight. For anything you study, this is my last word. You allow your mind to think and the insights to come, and those insights are for you. They're not for me. They're relative to your experience. That's a relative truth to you. And so you let that, you see how relevant it is. versus asking somebody for a reading. No, you can ask them for a reading after you ask yourself and see how good the reading is. Because who better know you than yourself if yourself is unlimited in its power? Yourself. And so we got to flip it. It's unorthodox, but I'm telling you, you'll see it. Hello? They need to see how good their reading is. That's the only reason why you get it. Now, I'm going to see how good your reading is. Because this is how I'm aligned with myself. And you can tell them now that on the line. Or that was right on point. Says you got it. You the bomb. And so that's how we advance by validating each other. KRS-One was talking about that. He said when we started rap, that we had to validate ourselves. They were rapping about consciousness. They weren't rapping about killing people at first. The S-Clan and the Public and all them, right? They were rapping about consciousness. But my partner heard me bust the lyric and said, yo, that was dope. He just validated me. Yo, you got to hear so-and-so what he said. And he bust another verse. Oh, man, I didn't hear that. And then we end up validating ourselves. We don't need nobody. All right. So with that being said, those of y'all that's been watching, we did a whole thing over here, but it was needed. Was it needed? Yeah. So we're going to play the game now. We're going to cut off the live stream, and we're going to play the cash flow game to increase our financial literacy. It's a great game, and I've learned a lot about it. I've opened up my financial eye several times with other people's. And so those of you that want to stay for the game, we'll explain the game. Matter of fact, I'll just go here. And so you got everybody's date, birth date, and stuff like that? Okay. Just a couple of announcements. You can get with us and research us. And if you want to become a part of our membership where you can get access to our archives, you just let me know. I'll make sure you have my information. This next Sunday, we'll be talking about accessing the gift of planetary healing. This will be next Sunday, and that will be on 6:15. No. We're just we're doing an overview of the school and wanted to teach people the financial literacy. So sorry about that miscommunication. Yeah. Okay, we gotta change what we're writing this. Okay. So and then the overview of the game. Now here's what we're gonna do about the game. Let's talk about the game. All right, so everybody look at the screen. All right, so the screen is saying, right? The game is broken down into 4 quadrants. There's a book called Cash Flow Quadrants and Rich Dad Poor Dad. Anybody heard of it? Robert Kiyosaki. Now he did something very interesting because he was able to put into a book how to create financial consciousness and be literate in such a way that you can move from a poverty consciousness to a wealth consciousness. Whatever you want to do with that wealth consciousness is your business, right? So he broke it down into 4 parts. The employee, right? You have a job. So this left side of the quadrant, self-employed, you own a job. Now here's the issue with the employee. It's the highest tax. Right? It's the highest tax. The employee. Employee, when you fill out your W-2 and all that kind of stuff, you agree to have more taxes taken out than any other. When you're self-employed, you're on a job now. Here's the thing with the self-employed. Your time broke. You're going to work harder than you ever did on the job. You're going to make more, but a lot of times you're helping yourself. So this side of time is the least amount of time. This side of the is the least amount of time that you have for yourself, for your purpose, and you get the highest tax. So when they say that you want to be in financial literacy to become a BLDG business owner, a lot of people are self-employed and they think they're business. No, the business owns you because you are in the system. The way that you become a business owner is you own the system. You can sell the system. Right? And that means that you can make money and not have to be there. As long as you got to be there, you're the what? You're the system. So you want to own the system that makes you lead. And then the investor is where the money works for you. Where you've gotten enough knowledge to know which business system to invest in that will give you a return, financial return. Okay? So the game teaches you how to get out the rat race of the employee, right? What happens? You work 40 to 60 hours a week, we get a paycheck, we spend it, and then we got to work again to get the same money, to keep paying the same bills, and we get into the rat race. What this is saying is that once you get on the fast track, you get out of it, for investing and on the businesses and things of that nature. Now your time is your own, and you can live your life. Okay? So that's what we're going to be teaching in the game. All right, and let's see. And that's it. So we're just going to take a brief break. I'm going to use the restroom. Then I'm going to instruct y'all. We're going to go over here and sit with the game, and we'll go over the instructions real quick, and we're just going to start playing. Okay, well, I understand. Yeah, you might not be able to stay, but hopefully you got something out of this, and you didn't just listen to your son more.